is, when I started out, I would only do one enema bag, which is a half a gallon. Um, what I do now is I just do 1 gallon of distilled water, pour it all in a stainless steel pot. I think the different grades of material, the water and the cooling and the heating is different, and then you don't want a cheaper grade of material leaching into your water, so I just use stainless steel.
Yeah.
I use a stainless steel pot, 1 gallon of distilled water, and then I do a tablespoon for every 8 ounces. So that's what I do.
Is that level or heaping? Tablespoon.
It's heaping.
Okay.
It's heaping. And then I brew it on high for 15 minutes, and then I turn it off, and I run a sink full of cold water, and I set the pot, and it's not a sink full, it's probably a third of the pot, or even a fourth of the pot, probably a fourth of the pot of water, and I just set the pot in there for 10 minutes. And that's my perfect formula for getting the perfect tempered coffee. Any less than that, of cooling it, it's going to be extremely too hot, and you're going to be stopping and then that bag keeps that coffee insulated.
Yeah.
So once you pour it in there, it's going to stay hot for a while.
Yeah.
So you want it kind of warm, but not too warm when you pour it in the bag. And then based upon what you're cleaning, your coffee enema can be anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour and a half. If I have a lot of toxins that's coming out, as soon as I start that coffee enema, 5 seconds later, it's time to release the enema. If there's, especially with the green juice, but if there's not a lot that has to come out, you may be able to do a third of the bag before you have to release it. It just really depends. Deep breathing during the enema allows you to retain it longer. You want to retain it anywhere between, and it varies, and it's hard in the beginning. It's just really hard. But anywhere between 6 and 12 minutes of trying to retain it would be great. In the beginning, you won't be able to do that. You just won't, because the toxins are already there and your body's ready to expel them. And it depends on the position that you're in. You want to start out on your right side, then you want to move over to your left side, and then it's just to be on all fours. I've noticed with all fours, you can do the whole entire bag, but initially you can't. And so I've never retained coffee longer than 12 minutes, and I have a timer. And then you want to make it a sterile environment, so I have a whole little process for that, because you don't want to cross-contaminate anything, especially when you're dealing with microscopic parasites, and then you rub your eye, and then you got something growing in there. You don't want that. So I'll use peroxide. I'll use coconut oil as a lubricant, and then I'll have 2 separate towels. One is loaded in peroxide, and the other one is to keep the little insert clean. And so you'll pour your coffee in there, generally higher than so it can drain down, and then of course you'll clean the bag out. I just generally put peroxide in it. I really don't have a measurement for it. Probably if I think about it, it may be a fourth of a cup. I'll fill the entire bag up, hang it up on the shower pole, and then just let it run all down. And then I'll run it through again with water again, and that cleans the whole bag. You don't want to be having old things living in your bag, and then you're reintroducing them to you. And I do that once the enema is done. And so during the process, you'll lubricate the little end, you'll hang the coffee up, you'll find a very comfortable position to lay. I do this in the bathroom on the right side, and I make it a whole experience. I light scented candles, I use music every single time, because for me, coffee enemas releases so many different things. I mean, your mind, it just goes into a million different places. I don't know why it does that, but for me it does. And so I'll listen to music, and I'll just lay there, and I'll let a little come out, and then slow it down and do some deep breathing to retain it. A little bit more come out, slow it down, and just kind of massage it, and do some deep breathing, because you want to retain it. You want your liver to dilate. You want your gallbladder to start dumping bile. The purpose of it is to detoxify your liver. You want it to do that. And then you'll expel it, and you repeat the whole process. You feel comfortable, roll to the other side. Feel even comfortable, then you'll do all fours. And then even like this morning, it was incredible. When you were texting me, I was texting while I was doing the coffee enema. And I'm like, okay, yeah, right. Yeah, and so and even. And it was, and I haven't detoxed. I haven't detoxed at all this week because my detox ended last week, and there was still so much mucus. Yeah, and the food that I've eaten for this whole week, I can see the red peppers that I ate 4 days ago. I could see the water chestnuts I had last night. I could see what I ate. And you would think that it would be broken all up and dissolved. And I was thinking I wasn't that hungry. Why is that mushroom still whole? It's the whole half of a mushroom. So it shows you how important it is to really just assist your body with breaking this stuff down. You want to chew your food really well. You want to eat slow. You want to assist it so that it comes out. You don't want it staying in there. But it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I'll do them forever.
So you do one a day?
When I'm detoxing, I listen to my body. Generally, the sign that I need to do a coffee enema is because my thinking becomes very unclear, extremely unclear, and I'll get a headache. I'll just feel bad. I'll feel angry. My kids, I'll get off from work and I'm like, my daughter's like, let her go in the bathroom, give her an hour, she'll come back out, she'll be fine, just give her that hour, and I'll come back, and it's like the birds are chirping, and everything is all brand new again. And so I listen to my body when I'm detoxing how to do it, but my main thing is that I cannot concentrate. I can't concentrate. I'll short-term memory, and I can't concentrate. And then generally when it's that toxic, what comes out is generally ropeworms and tons and tons of mucus. So I've even narrowed it down to how I'm feeling based upon what's coming out.
And being vegan, then you don't have any dairy in your diet?
No dairy.
So where do you think the mucus is coming from?
Just being, I've been vegan, August would be a year. Vegetarian, I started 6 months before that. And then pescatarian, this year will be 4 years. So I have decades of things in there. And even with some of the things that came out, just the smell of things, because that's another one of our senses, it smelled like a sewer, like an old sewer that's just been, somebody's just left it in an abandoned city for 20 years and now somebody's flooding it with water.
Wow.
Yeah, you can tell when things have been there for a very, very, very long time. Yeah.
What do you do with these parasites? You stab them, cut them in half? What do you do?
I didn't go to that point. Initially, my initial plan was to get, you know how they have a preservative in a jar?
Yeah.
I was going to collect, my uncle was saying formaldehyde or different things like that with the
Formaldehyde.
Yeah, I was going to preserve it, and I was going to put them in the freezer, and my daughter freaked out and said, please don't do that. If I go in there to get the strawberries and your parasites are in there, I'm not going to be able to deal with it. And in the beginning, I didn't want to see them. So in the beginning, whenever it was coming out, I had no idea what it was because I didn't look. I just flushed. I just flushed. I didn't want to see it. And then I got interested and I wanted to know. And so I just started looking. And then once I started looking, I got even more interested. And then I got a stool strainer that I put on top of it so all the coffee can drain and I can collect what was ever in there, and then I could just examine it. So I've never cut them open. That one little weird thing, I was scared to death to cut it open. I'm like, I don't even want to know what's in it. I got it. I got pictures of it. It was very tough, very thick, like pliable meat. That's what the consistency of it was. It wasn't as tough as tire rubber, but it was really, and it had weight to it. It had weight to it. I don't know what it was. But it's gone now. It's gone. But I'm sure that there's more in there, and I'm going to get that out too. And so it's just, coffee enemas are wonderful. I've tried it. Cindy's not a big fan of coffee enemas because she's not a big fan of coffee. It gives her the jitters. And some people are very caffeinated sensitive. I am one of them. Yeah. It's only been two times where I've had the jitters from a coffee enema. Yeah, it was just twice that I did. And I think that it's because I brewed it longer that time. I think if it's brewed longer, it has more time to release the caffeine, and then you're pouring it in there. Other than that, I've done not probably 100, but I know I've done well over 50 of them, and I never had caffeine reaction.
So when you say brewed, are you talking about get it to a boil and let it simmer?
Get it to, I started out getting it to a broil on high for like 3 minutes and then turning it down and letting it do that. Then I read somewhere else, just brew it on high for 15 minutes and then just turn it off and cool it, if you have a time constraint. So I did it that way works well for me. So I'll put it in there and it heats up, and normally at about 12 minutes it starts boiling pretty good.
Okay.
So it's really boiling really good for like 3 to 5 minutes, and then I just turn it off and let it cool. Longer than that, I had the jitters. I sure did. 2 different instances. I had those caffeine jitters. Yeah. And I get, and I've tried different kinds. I've tried coffee that's come from Colombia. I've tried coffee that's come from the Virgin Islands. I've even tried espresso. Yeah. And no difference in between them with the jitters. There is a yellow coffee bean that is supposed to be 25 times more potent than the regular organic coffee that they're recommending to use for coffee enemas. I was told it produces tremendous results. Have not tried it, but I am buying it. So I'll let you guys know. You have tried it?
Yeah. But will you turn that off for a minute?
Mm-hmm.